Welcome to Empowered Freedom. For more information and to connect with us via social media, visit paulctiarena.com. Hey y'all, this is Paul C. Tiarena, nutritional therapist and life coach out of Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm here to invite you to our next Superhuman Transformation. Now, the Superhuman Transformation, we abbreviate SHT, is a 10-week holistic real food, lifestyle, and life-changing progression that's designed to change you from the inside out in every aspect of your life. And why would you want to consider something like the SHT versus some other challenge out there? Well, this isn't a Biggest Loser. It's not a weight loss challenge. You're not competing with other people. This is a progression, a program that's designed to change you in every level of your life and get you on a path towards optimal health and optimal health markers and just feeling absolutely amazing, which just so happens to translate into all the things that people are typically looking for when they join a challenge. Now, if you currently suffer from low energy levels, digestive issues including heartburn, acid reflux, constipation, diarrhea, everything in between, inflammation, whether it's acute or chronic, skin issues including acne, dry skin, psoriasis or eczema, poor body composition, problems focusing, poor mental clarity, constant sadness or constant depression. On the sleep front, if you don't sleep well every night, if you go to bed late every night, if you wake up early every morning even when you try to sleep in, if regardless of how much sleep you get, you always feel tired and low energy, or if you suffer from things like high cholesterol, diabetes, autoimmune conditions, or symptoms of metabolic syndrome, or if you have kids that suffer from problems focusing, ADD, ADHD, low self-confidence, having problems at school, then this would be something that you'd want to consider. So we've put together a short presentation that we'd like you to pay attention to, and at the end of it we'll go through some frequently asked questions, and we hope to see you at our next SHT. Thank you so much for paying attention. Welcome. This is Paul C. Tiarena, nutritional therapist and superhuman life coach out of Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'm here to take you through a brief presentation that will give you the details of our upcoming SHT. If I had to describe this progression in one word, it would be freedom. You will experience freedom on a lot of different levels. And in fact, when I sit and talk with some of our veteran superhumans, which I do all the time because it's the only people that I hang out with, that is by far the resounding descriptive word that we always use. Like, we're free. Like, we understand so many things that so many people don't have figured out. So we have a hashtag that we use that we started a few years ago when this progression really started to kind of gain some traction. We call it Empower the Planet, because our vision is to empower as many people as possible with the ultimate goal of them experiencing true freedom. And it's the freedom that comes from understanding these foundations. We truly feel like no one else out there has it put together the way that we have it put together. Right? You can go out there and you can read some real food books and some books on optimizing health through a lot of different things, but no one has it pulled together the way that we do. All right? It's amazing. It really is. So our foundations are holistic real food. Functional fitness is not something we actually do in the challenge. We don't do training sessions in the challenge, so some people might be a little scared off because they think they're going to have to work out during the challenge, and we don't do that. We just recommend that you work out a few days a week, and we recommend certain modalities, but we are advocates for functional fitness, so we can give you more details on what that is. Setting circadian rhythms, which is basically aligning your biological rhythms with the rising and setting of the sun, which helps you improve your sleep patterns and some other biological rhythms, hormonal balances and things. We're big advocates for being in touch with the earth through a process we call grounding, which has measurable physiological benefits. We get into meditation and mindfulness practices. I'm telling you right now, meditation, if you don't do it right now, it is the SHT. It really is. Like, it's awesome, and we learn a lot about it as we go through this progression. And then we understand the importance of cultivating community and social interaction. Even for some of us, including myself, which consider ourselves introverted, social interaction is so important. It's so healthy. It's so beneficial, especially if you do it with the right people. And our people are the right people, right? So our mission focus is to give you empowerment through education, which basically means that we're going to educate you throughout this progression. And then you not only have that education, you get experiential knowledge by actually implementing these principles throughout the course of this progression. And then we give you ongoing support through our headquarters and through our awesome community that we built. Now, growing up, if I gave you some background history on me, I wasn't always like healthy. I wasn't always the way that I am. I had a rough start. I was like a lot of kids. We called ourselves latchkey kids. We'd come home from school and let ourselves in and eat Pop-Tarts and cereal and TV dinners. I don't even know if they have TV dinners anymore. I'm sure they do, and macaroni and cheese cooked in margarine, So my mother, bless her heart, she was a single parent mother, so convenience foods were great for her, very convenient. And she would cook home cooked meals when she could, but for the most part, we kind of made our own stuff. So now this is one of the first videos of me actually eating bacon, my first experience with bacon. So let's just watch this real quick.
Houston, is that good?
Burger.
Bacon.
Burger.
Bacon.
Burger.
Wasn't really me. It was a video we saw on Facebook. It was great though. We're not to give you too much information up front, but we're big advocates for bacon. Some of us are, not all of us, but so anyway, growing up, I had goals that were similar to a lot of people. That's me when I was at the academy in my early 20s when I had hair. If you haven't noticed, I don't have hair now. I shave my head. But anyway, my goals growing up were like a lot of other people, basically I wanted to look and feel great, but I really wanted to have some self-confidence and feel good in my clothes and be attractive to the opposite sex. And now that I've gotten a little bit older, my focus has shifted more towards optimal health markers, optimal performance, and longevity. And so these are the things that I was doing as I was growing up, and this kind of implies that we don't agree with these things. I felt like the more exercise I could do, the better, because it was burning fat off my body. It was kind of countering my bad diet or what might be bad in my diet. And so I was in the gym 2-3 hours a day. The more I could do it, the better. The more I could run half marathons and things like that, the better. I started every day off with oatmeal, some kind of a whole grain or yogurt or a combination of those different things. I avoided red meat like the plague because, of course, I heard all the rumors about how it causes cholesterol issues, which lead to heart disease, and it caused cancer. If I did eat protein, it was from chicken breasts and egg whites and tuna fish and protein shakes and bars. I went through a juicing spree. I call it a spree, but I did it for a pretty significant period of time. I always counted calories or was very aware of calories and tried to maintain a certain caloric take and make sure that I exercised more than that. I ate every 2 or 3 hours to keep my metabolism stoked. And then I even tried going vegetarian and vegan for a little bit to kind of fix some of the symptoms I was experiencing. I got most of my information from mainstream magazine sources. So I know most of us probably don't read magazines anymore. But back in the day, I got my information from Muscle and Fitness and Flex Magazine and Men's Health. And I know a lot of women at the time were using Shape and Muscle and Fitness Hers. And I know today a lot of people get their information from the Nightly News and Dr. Oz and Oprah. And then I also paid attention to different food guidelines and health guidelines put out by certain associations and government associations like the USDA and the American Diabetic and Dietetic and American Heart Association. So I had a turning point. At some point, I just sat back, and I've always been fascinated with anthropology and human evolution, and I just sat back and looked at everything that was going on, and I realized that something was wrong. We have all this dietary advice from all these different sources. We don't have a lack of information, that's for sure. All right, so the American Diabetic, Dietetic, there's probably a diuretic association out there. The USDA food pyramid, which morphed into my plate. Now they came out with some new guidelines. With all this information, we have the highest rates of obesity of any place on the planet, which is kind of ridiculous. All right, we have the highest consumption of what I call commercial dairy products in the world, which is basically low quality, inexpensive, 2%, 1% fat-free milk. Just about every single female that comes to see me in my private practice is taking a calcium supplement or a prescription strength bone density supplement like Boniva. And with all that, we have the highest rates of osteoporosis and arthritic conditions in the world, which is insane. And then my favorite is we have the highest consumption of whole grain, heart healthy, low fat, no fat, whole wheat versions of everything you can possibly imagine. And yet we have the highest rates of cardiovascular disease in the world. And I mentioned before, we have all these different sources of information. Did you know that the United States has over 4,500 different diets? For being the most intelligent animal species on the planet, we can't figure out what we're supposed to eat. When you look at healthcare costs, the U.S. spends over $3 trillion per year, which is about $6 million per minute. Can you even fathom that? And if you broke that down per man, woman, and child, or per capita, we're spending about $8,000 a year on healthcare, which in health rankings puts us between 11th and 37th in most statistical categories. When you compare us to other countries, that is. So if you compare us to the countries of Europe and China and Japan and Australia, in the industrialized world, it's like we're dead last when it comes to health and improving health. So we have more money going towards finding the cure and curing, all these different diseases of civilization, and yet we have the highest rates of them. They keep getting worse and more problematic. So it's rare that you take this much money and pump it into a problem and it keeps getting worse and more problematic unless you're doing the exact wrong thing, which is what we've been doing for the past 40 or 50 years, which means it stands to reason that a lot of what we're going to do is going to be completely opposite of that. So this is what I would consider the prevailing current pervasive conventional wisdom. What I mean by conventional wisdom is basically, things that everyone's doing and knows to do, but nobody knows why we're doing it. Right? You can look up the definition, and that's kind of where we're at with health and fitness and nutrition. All right, so low fat, whole grains, lots of complex carbohydrates, eating fruits and vegetables, which I'm not saying that they're not good for you, but we'll learn more about that as we go into this. Avoiding meat, eating every 2 or 3 hours, calorie counting, portion control, exercising to count calories, avoiding the sun, because we all know how it causes skin cancer and other issues, and then not getting dirty, because everywhere you look, there's hand sanitizers and wipes and lotions and things like that. We truly believe that dirtier people are healthier, and there's reasons for it, right? So we disagree with all that stuff. Now, and that should hopefully generate some curiosity and some interest, right? My second indication that something was wrong was when I had developed and confirmed my own personal health markers that were out of whack, right? And then I started to notice that when I started working with people, they were the exact same thing that most people experience when they come to see me or when they come to experience this progression, right? So in 2006, I went in for my first checkup since being out of the military, and I was what I like to call metabolically deranged. So, I had high blood pressure, so I was on a blood pressure med. I was pre-diabetic, so I was on metformin. I took Claritin most days for allergies, Zantac most days for indigestion, just felt miserable and horrible, didn't sleep well, didn't have good energy levels, and, was just absolutely wrecked. It was miserable. I remember those days. My issues and the most common symptoms for people that we see coming through this progression. So again, these are things that I was experiencing, but I also understand and know that these are things that most people experience when they come to see us, or are experiencing when they come to see us. All right, so low energy levels, chronic digestive issues, inflammation, both acute and chronic, skin issues, which include acne, dry skin, psoriasis, eczema, poor body composition. On the mental and emotional front, we have things like problems focusing, poor mental clarity, emotional instability, constant depression and sadness, which most people wouldn't think or realize it's associated or connected with nutrition and all these different lifestyle factors, but it completely is. And in general, just don't feel good and have no motivation and no dreams. And then on the sleep front, most people stay up late every single night, even though they know they should go to bed early, even though they try to go to bed early. And they wake up early every morning, even though they try to sleep in. And they never feel rested, and they always feel tired, no matter how much sleep they get or how much time or effort they put into sleeping. So one of my biggest realizations was that if I sat there and I followed conventional wisdom's view of what we need to do to be healthy for about 18 years, and it failed me miserably. And this was my realization. If what you're doing isn't working, if you're still tired, can't lose weight, or have other unresolved symptoms or issues, you have to consider the possibility, however unlikely, that at least some of what you think is healthy isn't. Join us. This is powerful information, right? So just imagine, what if I could tell you what to eat, when to eat, and how much to eat for the rest of your life? You would never have to question that information again. You'd never fall for another fad diet again, because you would know exactly what to eat and how to implement it. And by the way, we get to eat some pretty freaking amazing food, right? Meats and bacon and full-fat things like full-fat dairy products and butters and cheeses, and even desserts like ice creams and chocolate and things like that. If they're from the right sources and have a certain level of quality, they're all in the deal. You just have to understand how to implement these things. And yeah, we do eat vegetables, but those vegetables are usually cooked in butter or some kind of a healthy fat or covered with some kind of cheese, right? Now, I don't want you to get the wrong idea and think that we're some kind of an Atkins program or something, but we do advocate real food, and our real food methodology has been pulled from a lot of successful real food methodologies. I started out as a vegan on this journey, and so I have a lot of principles that are vegan incorporated, but then also I'm an expert with paleo and primal and Weston A. Price and some other therapeutic real food methodologies. Done a lot of work with the low carb and ketogenic community. So anyway, my point there is, I make a little bit of a joke there about, we can eat steak and bacon and butter and cheese, and we can eat those things, and they're extremely healthy, but in the context of a lot of balance and stuff. So, we have some people that are real foodies that are, heavy on the meat and fat side, very small on the vegetation or plant matter side. And then we have people at the other end of the spectrum that are, almost completely plant matter, with a little bit of meat and fat here and there. And you can make any of it work. And the key is trying to figure out what works best for your body. But anyway, before I go off on a tangent, what if we could teach you exactly what you have to do each and every day to sleep like a freaking champ? I know a lot of us out there need better sleep. And what if we could teach you what you need to do to have strong, consistent energy levels all day, every day, without the need for caffeine and stimulants? I visit with people on a regular basis who are taking naps every day, and they can't imagine a life without taking naps. I don't remember the last time that I took a nap during the day. I mean, I seriously do not remember it. It's been years. So, and by the way, I'm 41 years old, and I competed in a CrossFit competition this year, which included 4 grueling, brutal workouts. I'm doing more in my 40s than I did in my 20s, and I feel absolutely amazing. Now, what if we could teach you how to have strong, consistent digestion every day? Consistent bowel movements every day, right? What if we could teach you how to have beautiful skin effortlessly? And actually, beautiful skin comes from within, right? It comes from the foods that you eat and minimizing the toxins that you put on and in your body. We're going to teach you how to have optimal body composition, because guess what? When you eat real food and you time things properly and you implement all these other synergistic lifestyle factors, your body composition naturally starts to change, which gives you automatic positive self-image, self-confidence, and, just this feeling like you're freaking awesome and you're amazing. We focus on giving you mental clarity and emotional stability and just absolutely feeling amazing all day, every day. And by the way, when you see a lot of our posts that we have in our Superhumans United, which is our Facebook group, or when you talk to people outside of the SHT progression, you'll notice that most of the talk doesn't revolve around body composition changes and symptomatic changes, although we all see tremendous changes to those things. We all just feel absolutely amazing all the time, right? Constant state of well-being. Social interaction is so important and so crucial, and so we focus on this throughout the progression and afterwards. So we talk about the importance of this and cultivating community. So we have a great local community that we've cultivated. We also have people remotely, so there's all kinds of things that you can do to stay engaged and build friendships. We help you cultivate a sense of purpose and a clear path for following your dreams by helping you implement what we call superhuman priming, which includes some goal setting, some daily gratitude, meditation, and envisioning. We learn all about that as we go through the progression. Now, here's some of the most common superhuman symptoms that we get back based on survey results and just interacting with people, right? So on the left-hand side, we have more physiological things like constant well-being, increased energy levels, better sleep patterns, improved body composition, stronger digestion, clearer skin, less hungry less often. Most of us eat 2 meals a day, some of us 3, but we definitely don't eat 6 or 8 or 9. Less frequency of meals. And then on the mental emotional front, we have laser focus, mental clarity, emotional stability. We start to see and notice coincidences and synchronicities more. And then people start to dream again. They have goals again, and they see all areas of their life improve. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like, there's all kinds of things that change for people, right? So make no mistake about it. You're the hero in this. I like for people to envision themselves as the character in some kind of like awesome movie, like Star Wars. I don't know if Star Wars is kind of too far ago. I mean, I'm thinking about the Star Wars back with Luke Skywalker and stuff, but anyway, you're like the hero in a journey, and this journey is going to last a lifetime, all right? And what I mean by that is you're going to have all kinds of ups and downs and experiences and epiphanies and challenges and difficulties and all this stuff intertwined together. You have to learn it. You have to do it. You have to live it. You have to figure out how to implement this. And guess what? You've got a great support system here. We're like the ugly bald guys in the background, right? We give you guidance, tools, and support. We're like Yoda, all right? And we do that through our foundations that we mentioned before. So you should have either a hard copy in your hands or access to a PDF link of some details about the challenge or the progression, the transformation. So let's go through that real quick. All right, so we focus on a 10-week progression that takes you through a massive re-education and self-experimentation process, focusing on the most important things that contribute to optimal, vibrant health, which include our foundational principles. We hold education meetings every 2 weeks that last about an hour to an hour and a half. At the end of each meeting, we cover temporary goals for the following 2 weeks, and then we go off and we journal each and every day, documenting our food, checking off lifestyle requirements, and at the end of the 10 weeks, we're completely transformed from the inside out, completely re-educated, and completely superhuman. Now, some of the educational topics that we will master as we go through this course: eating for maximum energy levels throughout the day, training your body to be self-sufficient. What we mean by that is we teach you how to train your body to make its own energy internally, which ideally would come from burning fat for fuel, which means your excess body fat. We teach you how to experiment with a low-carb approach, but safely and effectively. Now, we're not low carbers, we're strategic carbers, but we do see some value in some cyclic low-carb, going through some cyclic low-carb phases, but you have to do it right, and we teach you how to do that. We teach you how to test your body for starches, sugars, dairy products, nuts, seeds, and legumes, because what we're going to do is give you a general definition, a broad definition of real food. And then the question is, within that definition of real food, which things do you feel best on and which things resonate with your body the most? And then also understanding that as time goes on, whatever you do well on now, you're not going to do well on for the rest of your life. And so we give you some protocols and tools that you can use to continue to test yourself so that you can continue to fine-tune your way of eating. We talk about fat loss strategies in the context of being superhuman. We give you some biohacks for improving energy levels throughout the day, maximizing sleep at night, and optimizing hormonal patterns. We teach you how to maximize the benefits of grounding and earthing, how to develop your own personal morning process with goals, affirmations, and visionings, which will help you support yourself for creating the life of your dreams. We teach you how to meditate using several different techniques, and we teach you how to incorporate mindfulness into your daily life. And then we help you cultivate a sense of community with our other superhumans, because we have all kinds of great social events and things. I'd like to give you just an outline of what our weeks look like. So remember, there's meetings every 2 weeks. That's what you have to commit to, 1 hour every 2 weeks, all right, for the total of 10 weeks. Sounds like 10 weeks. That doesn't mean we're spending hours and hours and hours and hours in meetings. So at the first meeting, at the kickoff, we're going to help you cultivate your superhuman avatar. And I like for people to think of themselves as a superhero, and then we help you to cultivate this character. And it's really powerful and awesome. We talk about the basics of goal setting, and we'll start to create some of our initial goals and what we call life categories and key attributes. And then we talk about real food basics, which include what is real food and how to structure your daily eating. And then you do receive your manual, shopping guides, and handouts at that first meeting. After that first meeting, you go off and you have some goals. And at the second meeting, we talk about power-ups in the context of being superhuman and a superhero, allies, and then cultivating community. We talk about, with your morning process, cultivating the power of gratitude. We get into our first sleep biohacks. And what we mean by biohacks is just these little tools that help you kind of hack your system and improve things. We talk a little bit about mineralized hydration, and then also maximizing self-sufficiency, which is basically maximizing training your body to make its own energy and use fat for fuel. 2 weeks later, at the third meeting, we continue to help you cultivate your superhuman avatar. We help you create powerful affirmations that you start to use with that morning process. We have our first introduction to meditation, and we use breath as a focus. It's awesome stuff. We talk about the benefits of sun exposure. We have a couple of goals surrounding that. We talk about the benefits of connecting with the earth through a process called grounding. And then for our food goals, we have our famous low-carb cleanse, which is just awesome and powerful, and everybody loves it. 2 weeks later, at our fourth meeting, we help you cultivate your superhuman avatar even more. For our morning personal process, we talk about envisioning, and we create a cheat sheet to help you with your envisioning. We continue to focus on meditation, and this time we focus on the inner body. We talk about our beloved safe starches, which are one of our 5 food groups, and we talk about the benefits of safe starches and why they're so important, why we call them safe. And then we teach you, we get into our first self-testing protocols, and we teach you how to self-test your body for specific foods. And then we start to experiment with what we call strategic fasting, which is basically some fasting protocols that are extremely healthy for you. 2 weeks later, we get into our fifth meeting, which is we continue to cultivate our superhuman avatar. We talk about synchronicities and coincidences and how we start to see more of these things and what they mean and how they're confirmations that we're on the right path. We get into our third meditation focus, which is sounds in the environment. We talk about the health benefits of high-quality, full-fat dairy products. And then we teach you how to make your own properly prepared legumes. And we get into another self-testing protocol that we call pulse testing, which helps you hone your food testing even more. And then 2 weeks later, we have our finale. And at the finale, we have a potluck, usually at someone's house, which is just a really great laid out space. We hand out certificates based on diligence and based on attendance. And then we also award some different things. And we just have a great little socialization thing going and experience some great food and just have a lot of fun. It's just really, really amazing. So 10 weeks, 6 meetings, lots of powerful information. We have a lot of different ways that we measure progress, and I'm going to take you through each one of these real quick. We have professional before and after pictures. We have what we call a symptom analysis. We do, of course, some body fat measurement and tape measures. And then we also document your subjective markers that you want to see change, because we all come into this wanting to change different things. So we want to make sure that we document those things. And at every meeting, we have what we call diligence grading. So we sit down and we do a self-assessment based on how much effort we put into this progression. And then we get to take those sheets up and we keep track of all that information. So this is just one example of some awesome pictures in the progression. This is Jody Rail, our photographer. She's not only our photographer, she's also a client. She's also a superhuman transformation-e. And so in the beginning there, you can see for her first 10-week progression, she went through some significant body composition changes, but the longer she stuck with it, the more awesome she got. Right now in this first picture, she couldn't hang from a bar. In the last picture, she's doing 50 pull-ups in a workout, which is amazing. This next picture and graph here is from Desiree, and many of you probably get to experience Desiree in Superhumans United, which is our Facebook group, because she's really active in there and really motivational. And so on the left there, you'll see that she went through some significant body composition changes, and she just looks amazing, looks really vibrant and happy. On the right-hand side there, you'll see what we call a symptom analysis, and it's a comparison, right? So the red line is her symptoms pre-progression, or pre-SHT, and then the blue dotted line is her symptoms post-SHT. All right, so the worse off when you get the symptom questionnaires, 300 plus questions, it groups your questions and answers in system categories. And at the top, you can see upper GI, liver, gallbladder, small intestine, and so on. And so the worse off your answers are in these different areas, the higher off the graph that's going to be. And so for a lot of these areas, her symptoms were off the charts. You can see there her sugar handling was a 20, which the top of the graph only goes to like 14, which means she was off the charts, right? And then after the 10-week progression, we remeasured her symptoms, and you can see like her symptoms changed significantly. So not only did she look good, feel good, but she's also almost asymptomatic, which is really cool. I mentioned before the challenge meetings. So the challenge meetings are just awesome. This is where we get together and talk and discuss, and we learn new educational concepts, but we also interact with each other and have a lot of friendships cultivated, which is great. At that first meeting, you're going to receive your guide, your SHT guide, and also shopping lists. And then in between the progression meetings, we have what we call quests. Again, following the lines of a superhero and seeing yourself as a superhero, you got these little mini quests that you go out and complete, and when you complete them, you get credit for it. And you'll understand what I mean by having the pictures of Bejeweled and Angry Birds up here. Also included in each SHT progression are a couple of different Whole Foods shopping tours. Now, we're not saying that you have to shop at Whole Foods. I like Whole Foods, and I give you some reasons and arguments why, but the principles that we learn on these shopping tours, you can take to any grocery store: Smith's, Vons, Albertsons, Walmart, you name it, Costco. A lot of us use Costco. So we also have butcher shop tours at Echo and Rig Butcher Shop in Tivoli Village. And same thing as with the shopping tours, with the principles that you learn at this butcher shop tour, you can take to any butcher shop, but they'll come out and talk to us about the quality of different meats and the different services that they offer, and it's just really awesome. We mentioned before we have dinners and potlucks, and so we have these strategically placed throughout the progression so that you're experiencing great food and great community, and we have these things ongoing after the SHT progression, and as a veteran superhuman, you get to come to these progressions that are just for the current SHT transformationees. If you're not into essential oils, we're big into essential oils, and we use essential oils to support us symptomatically. We kind of see them as our replacement for over-the-counter medication, plus they can help us with performance and detoxification. It's not mandatory, but we do have some free classes scattered throughout the progression so that you can take advantage of these if it makes sense for you. And then also we have what we call a CrossFit field trip. So you get to experience my favorite gym in Las Vegas, which is the CrossFit Combine. It's my home base. It's where I do a little bit of coaching. We give you a field trip, and then we also give you a free week of the beginners class. And then if you decide to participate, we have a discounted rate for joining the CrossFit membership. We have a yoga field trip so that you can experience Nicole McIntosh and her restorative yoga, which I'm telling you right now, I've done a lot of different yogas out there, and this one is the one that I need, and it's awesome, and everyone can do it. So you'll get to experience that. So all that stuff combined into a 10-week program, and this is the current pricing. Now, depending on where you're at and how long it is before this progression kicks off when you're watching this video, we may have some early bird pricing, or we call it early bird SHT pricing, or early something like that. It's not listed up here, so I put the slides together. But anyway, even if it's not, like, this pricing listed here is just amazing, okay? Because we're teaching you skills that you're going to use for a lifetime, right? So for one adult, it's $325. That has a potential for a $50 reimbursement if you complete the challenge. And completing the challenge basically means that you attend all the meetings and you complete the homework. For two adults, it's $475, and there's a $75 potential reimbursement. Two adults means two adults that living together and sharing expenses. And then if you want to put a child through the progression, it's a $50 add-on. All right, we highly encourage families participate because it's very difficult implementing all these different things in a house that's divided. So for every current SHT progression, we have what we call a calendar. All right. So we highly recommend that when you sign up for this, that you go and you block out these important dates. And if you go to superhumantransformation.com and hover over Empower Me Now, you should pull up all the different transformations that are happening in your area. And then you can go to that transformation page and scroll down, and you'll see a current calendar, and it's always up to date. And so if you could just make a priority to block those dates out and make them a priority, because they are extremely important. And that's constantly updated. We also give you a calendar in your handouts at the first meeting. Now, I mentioned before, we're big advocates for CrossFit from the right kind of places, right? So if you have a good box that has good coaching and good instruction, then CrossFit is extremely healthy because it's functional fitness at its best. You get the best of all worlds. You get strength, conditioning, mobility. You cultivate community. Classes are amazing. And I happen to be particular to the CrossFit Combine because this is my home base and it has some of the best coaching in the city. And if you were to come watch some of our membership classes, you'd see that we have all walks, all sizes, all ages, all fitness levels. Everyone that comes into our classes typically has some kind of issue, whether it's a shoulder or a knee or a lower back or something along those lines. And everyone comes out of it over time like just feeling amazing and looking amazing and performing like they never thought they could perform before. So a 10-week CrossFit membership, after you've taken advantage of that free initial week, is only $200 for 10 weeks. So that's about 2 months worth of classes for just $200, which is a steal when it comes to CrossFit. All right, so that's a lot of information. I tried to cover it relatively quickly, so I didn't have you sitting here in front of a computer for too long, but I just wanted to reiterate the benefits to you, right? Here's the benefits to you from going through this SHT. Number one, you get freedom for life because you understand some foundational principles that you will never have to figure out again for the rest of your life. You're going to be a benefit to anything and everybody that you come into contact with, right? So remember, when it comes to health, it's okay to be selfish because a better you is better for everyone and anyone in your life. You're going to be a benefit to mankind because just being a superhuman, you're going to be an example to others. And you're going to influence and change the world by doing that. I guarantee you that you're going to have a lot of people coming up to you asking you, what the heck are you doing? How can I get into that? And then you're also going to save time, money, and health, because over the long term, you're going to notice that you're going to go to the doctor less often. You're not going to get sick as often. You're going to save money on food. You're going to save money on healthcare expenses. You're going to get recognition from family, friends, coworkers, and peers, because they're all going to notice these changes in you. And then you're going to have this feeling of having a destiny and being on path. And I'll tell you what, it's great to have all my health markers change, my body composition change, but the most, I think, gratifying gift that I have is that, like, I feel like I'm on path now. And even if I don't know what I'm doing or what I'm supposed to be doing, which is fine, I feel on path because I'm clean and vibrant and optimal, and every day gets better and better and better and better. So what it really takes is 10 weeks, 6 meetings, desire, diligence, belief, and dreams on your part, and then let us do the rest by supporting you. All right? Now, this is for you if you want optimal health. Right? If your focus is not just body composition, if you want to learn and understand so that you can implement this for a lifetime, if you want to look better, feel better, perform better, and you're okay with being a rebel, because guess what? Most of what we do is going to be different from what most other people do, because what most other people do is not working for them. And then if you want to be part of a team united by purpose and vision. So who doesn't want all that stuff, right? All right, so your next steps after watching this short video is going to be to connect with me at a minimum, because let's just say that you just don't feel like participating in this SHT right now, or it's just not a good fit at this time. If you're connected with us, at least you're going to hear about different things that we have going on in the future, different talks, different seminars, and different SHT progressions. Visit superhumantransformation.com. Find the current challenge, or the one that's kicking off here in the near future. Go through and counter out and block out the dates now so that you can make those a priority. You just need to make them a priority, because the meetings are dynamic and awesome and fun, and it's just nothing like anything else. Make sure that you reserve your slot at the bottom of the page, because there is a little place for that. And by the way, a lot of people will ask, what if I can't make a meeting, or I have to miss a meeting? Majority of people do end up missing at least one meeting, and there's usually a makeup meeting during the week for your convenience. But then also we always send out YouTube video versions of all the meetings. So, but we highly, highly, highly recommend and encourage that you go to the meetings, because the meetings are where it's at. All right, so I think that's it. I would normally say, is there any questions? But I can't listen to any questions. So thank you so much for paying attention, listening, and watching. We want nothing more than to see you be happy and successful and empowered. And so we really, really hope to see you at this next progression kicking off here in the near future. If you have any questions whatsoever, just make sure that you visit either superhumantransformation.com or our main website at paulcturena.com. You can shoot us a message, shoot us an email, or you can call us, and we'll be happy to answer your questions and talk with you, okay? I think that's it. Thank you so much for listening and watching, all right? We love you already. Can't wait to see you. Thanks. All right, now just a few frequently asked questions that we typically get. The first and the biggest is, I can't do this. I don't think I can do this, or can I do this? And what we'd say is absolutely. I mean, if you were to look at our demographics, you'd see that we have all walks, all ages, all health conditions that you could possibly imagine. They come into this thing, and they see resolution and improvement on all levels. The question is, do you have the diligence to stick out a 10-week progression like this? And if you do, then your success is almost guaranteed, because there's so much learning and so much support that goes on through the entire process. Another one is, I can't afford the challenge, or can I afford the challenge, right? I would say that you can't not afford it, or you can't afford not to, something like that. All right, because if you break it down, sometimes there's early bird pricing, but even at our group discounted rate of $325 per individual, if you were to break that down on a monthly basis, per month, that's $141. Per week, that's $32, and on a daily basis, that's $4.64. Now think about how much you pay in car rent, in mortgage or house rent, other utilities, grocery bills, cable, internet, and then consider the fact that this is something that's going to change your life for the rest of your life. Like, you're going to learn principles in here that are going to provide you value indefinitely, way after the 10-week progression. What happens after the SHT? Like, what happens? What kind of support is there for me? Well, first of all, our headquarters never goes away. Like, I'm always there to support you. So most people that know me understand that you can come in. I have an open door policy. You can make an appointment with me, and I typically don't charge for visits, depending on what they are. So if you need a check-in, a check-up, if you need a little bit of motivation, some practice meditating, if you need a refresher or something like that, like, my door is always open. We have a great Facebook group that you'll be a part of, and that's never going to go away. So you'll have support from our entire community through Facebook. We're always going to have events and potlucks and dinners and hikes and get-togethers, and so you'll always be able to participate in those things. And then we also have some advanced programs that you'll learn more about after you go through the SHT, such as our SHT ambassadors, our biohacking, and our detox program. So there's a lot of love and support there for you. All of us are on this journey for a lifetime, and all of us are here to support each other for a lifetime. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Remember, to get better, you have to get better, and to change, you have to do something different. This next SHT may be the best thing that you ever did for yourself. All right, we hope to see you there. Thanks. Thank you for spending time with us today. For more information, visit our main website at paulctiarena.com, where you can shoot us a message and also connect with us via social media. Thank you so much.